All right. Today's topic it is create a large sample database using TPC-H scripts. So first, let's see what is TPC-H. So TPC-H it is a benchmark testing for relational database system. It is a organization named TPC.org. Okay, so let's do a Google search and find out. Okay, so do a TPC wiki. So this is the Wikipedia. So TCP. So TCP stands for Transaction Processing Performance Council. That is the company organization name. It's basically this developing benchmark specifications for database system. Okay, so database vendors perform and all kinds of benchmark and publish the in the this website. Okay, so I'm gonna click this link. Okay, this is a different one. Let's look at where's the website. This one. So it's a tpc.org. Okay, you see they all have all kinds of benchmark results performed. The most recent one, like 2022. Okay, so here's their title. The TPC is non-profit corporation focused on developing data-centric benchmark standards and disseminating objective and verifiable data to the industry. Okay, so let's take one of their benchmark. So they have transaction processing, decision support, other like modern big data, IoT, AI, so on and so forth. So we're gonna see this one, decision support. It's called TPC-H. Okay, so let's see all the results. Okay, so it's basically you can see by performance, by hardware vendor, by database vendor. Okay, so we're gonna take a database vendor. So those are the recent tests performed by the hardware vendor or software vendor. So for those one like EXASOL, those are clusters. So we are not interested with cluster. We're only interested non-clusters. Okay, so you will see from here is the database size starting with 100 gig, 1 TB, 3 TB, and so forth. Most are Microsoft SQL Server, either on Linux or Windows. You see, on the hardware side is Dell, Lenovo, and HP. So all the way to 10 TB, 30 TB, and to 100 TB. Okay, 100 terabytes. So the one we are going to create is going to use their script to create a reasonable big database for us to if we need to test something meaningful, you need to have like enough data to do the test, like test the backup, test the database maintenance, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right. So let's go to their download to find what is the things we need to download. For TPC-H, this is the current source code we can download. So basically, this source code can can be used to generate data. So you load the data into the database. Okay, so this is the this video is for. So we're gonna so if to download you have to fill out your name, company, something, your email address, and then they will send you a link. You can go ahead to download this. Okay, so I already downloaded, so it is on my it's on my download folder. Let's start with the document, the task list. Okay, so I'm gonna go use this document. As typically I use upper window for the document and the lower window for the demo, for the execution. Okay, so I'm gonna exit this session from start from scratch. Okay, so what we learned so far, it is the TPC.org, that is the company, developing benchmark specifications. And the TCP-H is one of the decision support benchmark specification. So we're going to use their script to create. So we already downloaded their scripts. We also uploaded it to the server. Okay, let's take a look at the server we're going to use for this download. Okay, for this demo. So the server name, it's name H2. I mean the host number 2. Okay, so it's a CentOS 7. It's a free Linux distribution, and so I'm going to sign on to this server. Use the root. It doesn't matter which user to use, but just for convenience. Okay, so I'm gonna sign on to the remote server. It's a VM. So I'm in the server. So this server is have like a few gig memory, like 5-6 gig, and have like 4 CPUs. Right now it's idle basically. So the disk, a few 10 gig left. I have 16 gig on slash. I have 15 gig free on the slash home. So the software where I staged, I stayed a location under this slash home. Okay, so let's go to slash home. I staged it here. So you can see this is the zip file downloaded from the TPC the company website. So what I'm going to do is gonna unzip this file to do the install. Okay. So before do that, let's do a quick review of the system, because I'm planning to create a database for IBM DB2. The version is 11.5.7, and also for Microsoft SQL Server 2019 on Linux, and also Oracle 21c. Okay, so this is the system I'm going to use. Right now I have these 3 database running. Let's take a look at the Linux process. Okay, for Oracle, I have this is the one of the engine process. The instance is O21C. This is the PMO. Okay. For DB2, it's under the CC. This is the engine process. You see, it's under the instance 1, so it's running from SQL, MS SQL, I think. I have these servers running for the SQL server. To save resources, I need to shut down something. No, okay. I also have I think I also have something else running right now. I need to shut it down. Okay. Okay, I have this one, MySQL running on this server as well. So I have basic 5 databases running. So I'm gonna shut down this one. This is not related, but just stop this to save some resources on this server. So I'm gonna shut down the MySQL because I'm not going to use this time. Also, I think I'm gonna also shut down the Postgres. I don't know the. Let's see, it may be Post. Yeah, Postgres 10, this one. So I'm gonna shut down this one as well. Okay, Post. Oh, let's continue. Okay, let's just take a few extra minutes on these things. Okay, so 10-10. Okay. All right, so now we have this thread running. So today, due to the time, I don't want to take too much time, so probably it's going to work on the IBM DB2 first because it's relatively straightforward. All right, so let's continue. So I'm in the folder. Now I'm going to unzip this file, okay? Unzip. This is some random generated number things. So once it's unzip, so we're going to cd to this directory. It's going to in this directory version 3.0 and the cd to subdirectory in this one. You see here you see some C files and some like header files, so we're going to compile this to executables. Okay, before we do that, we can make a copy of this make file and then modify it to be used for the DB2. Okay, so we're going to make a copy here. It says, let me see, I'm going to make a copy of this file. So I'm going to do a cp make file to the make file. Okay. Once I have the make file, we need a slight modification for each different database. After those comment section, the beginning of this make file is going to be where we need to change. It is like 4 places. The first one is the compiler. So we're going to use GCC, that is pretty standard on the Linux. And for the database, we're going to use db2. You see here, db2. And for the machine, it's Linux. And you see this supports so many, also they support like Mac OS, something like that, okay? So the workload is TPC-H, okay? So this is done. So now we're going to compile and create the executables, okay? We're going to type in make. Then they're going to generate executable for us to use. You see the timestamp? So this one, it is executed called dbgen. So database generator or data generator. So we're going to use the dbgen to generate a data set and to load into the database or whatever database we choose. Okay. So let's see, we did modify the script and type in make, and we have the executables. Okay. Now we're going to run something to the dbgen to create the data set. Before we create a data set, let's take a look at the help, okay? The syntax. So we're gonna do ./dbgen -h for the help, okay? I'm gonna write C. All right, so dbgen minus h. Let's give it not db2gen, dbgen. Okay. All right. So let's see. It's very simple. If you see the beginning, this is the usage, the dbgen, some option, and with the scale factor. Okay. So you can go through these the options, but here we just use the simplest example. See, if you want to generate 1 gig data, you use minus s, this is called a scale factor. If you want to generate 100 gig, you just scale 100. If you generate 1 terabyte, so scale to 1000, right? So since we don't want the video is too long, so we just generate I would say a 2 gig, okay, for demo purpose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead to generate now. So I'm going to time how long it takes for generate this 2 gig data. Okay, it's just text file. After you will see dbgen minus s scale factor, I'm going to generate 2 gig, and the minus v is over both. You will see the process. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to do this. Okay, and we'll showing the generating data for supply table, and it's done. So now move to the customer table and so on and so forth. Okay, and so if I exit this session, take a look at what is being generated. So it is let's see, I'm going to do ls TPC dbgen dbgen no, not cd, it's ls. Okay. All right, so you see it's generated right now. Let's see h. So you see this is the data being generated, the table name, then with the extension called the TBL. Okay, so you see the size, like a supplier is 2.7 megabyte, orders 94 meg, line item probably like eventually going to be like a few gig, 1 gig or something like that. Okay, it's generating right now. So once it's generated, you have the data, right? So you can, let's see, we can, because right now the table, the data is not very big, so we can simply do a check. So for example, if we do a WC, we will see how many records, you know. So from the Linux perspective, this one has 20,000, yeah, something like that, right? For the orders, let's see, orders, it is 1.66 million. So for the line item, probably after that, it's going to be have we'll see 10 million. So even for 2 gig database, you have a large table, have 20 million row. So when you perform like a certain query, certain database maintenance, it makes sense, you know, and any result probably is pretty reliable compared to the a tiny database like the sample database provided IBM, the GSDB, global sales. They are all very small databases. Okay. For other vendor like Oracle, SQL Server, They also have the vendor provided database. It's also small, like Adventure Works and Wide Order Reporter. For Microsoft SQL Server, you might find some large data sample database like Stack Overflow. It can be 10 gig, However, use those script. We can create, on fly any size of database. As long as you have disk space and enough computer power, you can create 10 gig, 100 gig, 1 TB easily, So I think it's almost there. Let's take a look. Yeah, line numbers finish. Oh, it's probably already somewhere close. So it says right now it is working on which table? Still working on this line item table. Okay. So let's see. 39. Oh, it's working on the part supply table right now. Okay. The line, this table 1.5 gig is already finished. Although on this screen it hasn't refreshed yet, but let's see. Let's see how many rows, right? So we're gonna see line number. It's 1.5 gig. So that's 12 million. Yeah, lots of data. See, yeah, 12 million rows for this. And then let's take a look at what is the data look like. Okay, so I'm gonna use a head to just see you see, it is they use the vertical bar to separate each column. Okay, each data field. So instead of the comma separated, you use vertical bar separated. Okay, it's a text file, and it can be basically loaded to any relational database. Okay. Okay, so generated 2G, it's take about 5 minutes. So that means every 1 gig, you probably take like 2.5 minutes. If you want to generate like 10 gig, so probably take a half hour or something like that. Yeah, 25 minutes, yeah. All right, so let's go on. So let's return to the text file, and we can continue. Okay. So this is our text file. What we did is we generated 2G. It's total 8 tables, and we did look at how much rows because this table is not the data is not very big, and also we look at the format. Okay, it is vertical bar separated those text file. Now we're going to move to the database creation. So for this demo, I'm going to just start with Scratch. Okay, create a database and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm going to switch into the database user ID. In this case, the db2 is 1. So let me see db2 list db directory. It's going to be empty. There's nothing created yet. Okay. So let's see. Nothing. So we're going to create a database called sample. So we're going to do db2 create db sample. So I'm going to use this directory and put all the data in there because I have like 15 gig free, 16 gig on this file system. So once this database created, so we're gonna go to connect and then run the DDL. Okay, run the DDL to create a table. This DDL called dss.ddl. It is provided by the source code. So if you look at the directory, right, so you will see one of them called the DDL, right? So if you take a look at this cat out this DDL, okay? If you cat out the DDL, you will see just a simple data table creation dot DDL. You see this all those tables. Create a table with column name, okay? Okay, the database creation is completed. So I'm going to just connect and create these tables, okay? Connect to sample and then create the table. Before I create, let me cd to that location. It's going to be, and it's home. Okay, so this is the location. You see this is the DDL. Those are the data to be loaded into the database, okay? So let's do a db2 these tables. There's no table, it's just empty database. So I'm going to do a db2 tf, run this dss ddl to create this database, the tables. So we create 8 tables. Let's do a db2 list tables again. You see we have 8 tables created. Now we're going to load those into the database. So let's cut out this instruction again. All right, so I already have this ready, so we can just go ahead to run those commands. At the same time, we can just use the largest table to example to see how long it's going to take. Okay. So because a db2 load, it is a pretty decent utility. They load data pretty fast because they bypass the database engine and work on the data page directly. Okay, so I'm gonna just run one first, just see how fast it is. That is the supply table. Okay. So you see the syntax is the db2 load from this text file is delimitered text file and modified by the column delimiter, that is the bar, okay, and replace into supplier. I'm not sure this should be single quoted. I think, yeah, it should be single quoted. All right, yeah, it's correct. Okay, 3 seconds, 20,000 row. Okay. So let me make a change to the to this script. Okay. So I'm gonna change vertical bar to vertical bar. Where's my vertical bar? Oh, it's here. All right. So let's continue. So let me just run this view first. Okay. So I'm gonna run this view, and it should be very quick. Okay, because it's some small tables instantaneously. Okay. Let's see, now it's on the orders. This 1.6 million take 4 seconds. Now it's on the orders. So orders probably take, orders is also complete. Orders, it's, it doesn't, I'll forget the return, okay. So orders, like 3 million fork seconds. Okay, and now let's move on to these two. So I'm gonna just run this, okay, because this is the largest table. So I'm gonna run this. Let's see, I'm gonna run this time. This is going to be 12 million rows. See how long it'll take, okay? So after that, the database is going to be fully populated, okay? And then if you want, we can do a count and see the number of rows, okay? So let's see. You see 25 seconds loading 12 million rows, you know, it's very fast. Also, I'm gonna finish this as well, this customer, and 300,000 and 3 seconds, okay? So it's roughly like somewhere like 100,000 to 200,000 per second, the speed. All right, so let's take a look at, let's do a count, okay? So I'm gonna do a count, count star from this table. Let's see orders. So it's going to have 3 meetings, right? So let me see. So going to be 3 meetings. What about this line number? Let's also check the line number, line item. So in this we have a 2 gig database, total size about 2 gig. So you can we can work on it. Right now it's only the table, so we can also add indexes, constraints, you know, those kind of things. But that is something else. But for now, just see, oh, we have a 2 gig database. For learning purpose and for experimentation, you know, and we can fairly create a 5 gig or 10 gig database to practice, you know. So that is very decent. I would say thanks for the TPC for, you know, for developing those scripts. And I think yeah, it's a little over half hour now, so I'm gonna stop here. Before I do that, let's take a look at the table space. Okay, so we're gonna do a db2 list table space and show detail. You will see it's going to be loaded into the user space 1. You see, user space 1. The total pages is 600,000 pages. The page size is 4. Yeah, you know, 4 times 6. You know, 2.5 gigabyte. Okay, so that is roughly the size of the database. And if we go to where the database location, probably can see the same thing. Yeah, like 2.5. See here. That is the folder size of all the table spaces together. Okay, system plus user table spaces. All right, I'm gonna stop here. So for the next video, I'm going to do the same for the SQL Server and also possibly for the Oracle, because Oracle needed some more time for prep work. Okay. Anyway, okay, that's for today.